So, hello everybody. Maria here again, drinking lots of coffee again from somewhere really, really far away from the Netherlands, far away from everything, but in beautiful nature around Colombian mountains, on top of many things. I'm like 3,000 meters high. So, this coffee is going to make hopefully a really nice effect on me. I brought today the French press. I'm having a nice Colombian filter, Americano style. So, for everybody who's watching, what is Coffee Break with Maria? This space is half an hour every single Monday with one of our experts on you name it. We are more than 50 experts across 10 different categories. And today we're going to have a special guest, some girls also from Colombia, not based in Colombia, and they're going to speak about workspace after COVID-19. Well, during, after, you name it, definitely the way we work have shifted 100% since March or so, I guess. And today we're going to talk a little bit about what are the implications. For all of you who are watching right now, this space is live on purpose. We want to make it as interactive as possible, which means please post all your questions via comments. And today, because we're starting August, end of summer in the Netherlands. Well, in Colombia, we have summer all the time. Don't worry about it. End of summer, we want to just encourage you to take this space and these coffee breaks to be part, actually to make your routine even better and to have insights from experts on how to improve things. So for entrepreneurs, business owners wondering how to make the best out of these times, welcome to Space is Perfect for you today. We are going to invite Claudia and Sol to share everything around workspace. So first, I'm going to introduce you to Claudia and then Sol, both of you, all of you, waiting for you here. So Claudia and Sol, welcome everybody. Hola, Claudia.
Hi.
Hello, Claudia and Sol.
Hello.
How are you, girls? What are you drinking?
I'm drinking tea.
Wow, that's nice.
It's too late for coffee for me.
Yes, I know. When I do it in the Netherlands and with people abroad, they are like, are you crazy? Coffee break? For us, it's 10 a.m. here in Colombia.
Yeah.
And where are you having?
So, I'm having a delicious coffee. I wish it was Colombian, but it's not, unfortunately.
It's delicious and it's coffee, so check. So, everybody, we are live via Facebook and YouTube, and of course, everything is going to stay there. So hopefully more people are going to watch this video later and start their week with some insightful, inspirational content that we're about to share. But first of all, who is who? So let's talk about who you are, first Claudia and then Sol. Where are you based? What do you do? And basically, what are you passionate about? What makes you wake up every day?
Well, I'm Claudia Canizares. I'm also Colombian. I studied industrial design in Colombia many years ago. And after working as an interior designer mostly in Bogota, I decided to do a master's degree in the Netherlands. That's how I ended up here 3.5 years ago. And over a year ago, after graduation, I decided to start my own business because I truly believe that design could, and interior design could really help organizations and people be better and find more creative ways of solving problems. And I thought that throughout my experience, I didn't really have that chance. I was working too much with big corporations. I was working for another big design studio. And I really wanted to go for something purposeful and significant with my expertise that was design. So that's how I ended up here. I'm in Rotterdam right now. And we started with one of my best friends from elementary school, Wow. And so I can pass the mic to Sol.
Yeah, Claudia and I have been friends from since we were basically 10 years old.
Yeah, we met at 5th grade.
Long time ago. Yeah. Well, I'm Sol Martínez. I'm also from Colombia. I am at the moment in the UK. I'm living here. I moved 2 years ago for good. I started my career in well-being a long time ago, and I always been focused on that specific area within different companies, big corporations such as Scotiabank. Like Claudia said, once you have that experience, you want more, and you want to have the opportunity to impact more people, and particularly in terms of people, because I'm passionate about people. So in terms of people, I see there's a lot to do every day, and you can contribute a lot in everything you do. So that's why our main purpose as a company, our company, Claudia and my company, is to humanize workspaces, because we really want to focus in that aspect. We really want to improve the way today, we prioritize or not people. So we want to push that in the right direction.
It sounds really obvious, right, Sol, that you say like humanizing space. I'm like, okay, so but we don't think about space without people normally, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's like we take it for granted. That space.
That's ironic. It's absolutely ironic, because you're right. That should be the first thought, right? Like, okay, let's start from people and then the rest, because the rest have to adapt to us, right? Or encourage us or change us. However, it's not like this. And Claudia can talk about this a little bit more, telling you about the history of the design, but yeah, it's not as obvious. So that's why we really want to bring this human-centered perspective in terms of how we design our workspaces, not just at work, but also at home or wherever you are.
Yeah, or space. Or space
definitely has a huge influence on people. Where you live, where you are, the way you work, it's influenced by space. But as Maria was saying, it's really taken for granted. And the people that also design the spaces historically has as well taken it for granted. Like, there are a lot of assumptions that happen during the design process that has made spaces via assuming what they're supposed to be for, or who's going to be there, and how it's supposed to be used. But at the very bottom, there's never really contact with the people and with the final users of the space. This is
it might be more from a functional or efficiency approach, you know? Yeah. Okay, we have this amount of employees, they need to fit here, good luck, type of thing.
Yeah, like an architectural program, we need 12 square meters for this and that, this many people, this many toilets, this many blah. And yeah, that's the architectural problem. But what about the people?
Or even more sad is when you... Sorry, Maria?
No, go ahead. I'm here for
you. And even more concerning is when you see that many corporations or even startups or whatever just invest money in something because it's trendy or it's nice or looks comfortable. But is it really connected with your purpose? Is it really connected with your people? Is your people feeling comfortable there? Those are the key questions that we found out that we're not contributing in the way we are. If we put it actually in the flip way, we were not taking even advantage of the space as a tool, right? As a tool to improve different things.
I mean, if you come like yourself from HR and everything, and like from how you feel about work, and you measure the impact that space has on you as an employee and how happy you feel about working there, you know, rather than just increasing salaries as an incentive, you know, rather than other types of incentives, you will be like, wow. So you chose a really nice name for your company.
Thank you very much. Wow.
Yeah, it was funny because we were talking all the time, well-being at work. Yes, we need to improve well-being at work. And after, there was just one day, this sort of epiphany, like well-being at work. Wow. And it's like, oh, there it is.
Nice. And I really congratulate you, because we met actually through these events, and And in the moment that we met, I realized, well, there's a lot of chances, and because we started this space around COVID-19 as well, and we realized the importance of creating new spaces to interact and to bring something extra to remote work and to how things are shifting right now. So we're going to cover all that through the whole coffee break, and I'm really happy to have you both and to know that there are like some additional, like a lot of Colombians out there doing amazing things as well, because you're in Rotterdam and I'm still stuck in Colombia waiting for my plane to for the airports to open, and so it's in the UK. So I think that also from entrepreneurial perspective, there's a lot of ways of working together, and it really goes around feeling and sharing the same passion and interest. So, like sometimes ideas come thanks to this, type of situations, and not only the bond that you have since you're like, little, but also like that you share the vision on how to improve things and how to disrupt an industry that maybe people think like, it's really fancy, you're there like drawing new, like, I don't know, a WeWorkspace or things that are becoming trendy, Scandinavian design, whatever design, all these things are just becoming reference. And then I agree with you that sometimes it's about fashion or trends, but when you're like there thinking from professional and expert perspective on how to disrupt an industry and how to innovate by creating a whole business concept around it, then you have something like Claudia and Sol. For everybody who's watching, pay attention. There's no industry that you cannot disrupt. There's nothing that is like a boring business or a classical industry, whatever. You can innovate everywhere. And that's something that we want to share today with you, girls. And somebody's calling. Hello, we have a call from.
Sorry.
No problem. So let's get started here. Everybody who wants to, like, also, if between you, you think that we should have or add any questions, feel free to do it. This space is just chillax. So, how can space influence the way we work? We were just talking about it briefly, but what is your opinion on that? What's your take on work as well-being as well, the way we feel at work?
Yeah, thank you very much for your question, because it's perfect to actually explain to you guys why we are different. We are different because we start by getting to know the people, the culture, and then just giving these design solutions, perfect tailored for the culture. So why is this connected with your question? Because we really believe the design can be a catalyst to change, to create new behaviors in people. So as we were mentioning just 5 minutes ago, this is really important because it's even though it's very straightforward to say it, it's not as straightforward when you see the reality within the workspace. So basically, if I want to improve, to give you an example, if I want to improve the health within the company, I have to start by changing the space and just taking the people to change that behavior. So, for example, if you want people to do more exercise, you have to show that through the space. So you have to make sure people use stairs instead of the elevator. You have to make sure, you always have different perspective, different aspects that you can improve. If you want people more concentrated, you have to prioritize natural light. If you want people like socializing, you have to create those spaces within the workspace where people can have a coffee like we are doing right now, to interact, socialize, to create together. So it's just a new way of thinking with using the design as a catalyst. That's the way we see things.
So it's a media to an end as well. So you can say, I want people to be more healthy or to think about moving more at work, then how the space can serve that purpose, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And also with the culture, with the vision of the company is definitely the kind of company that needs people to feel this sense of belonging and to build up really good relationships and really good relationships with each other and with clients. The space can definitely do this, and it can basically allow different kinds of interaction that that people don't even begin to imagine, because
And
we're
right
so
now,
used to the same kind of offices and spaces all the time.
right now
And
we live in a
it's almost
culture, we're
trend.
talking about company culture, company values. It's not like, what are you talking about? Decades ago, like it was not like you went to work to get a salary to pay your rent and your bills, that's it. Yeah. So also the way in which workspace have shifted through time is
Yeah,
something that we can really see, and that's something
yeah.
that, of course, Claudia, you can also share with us how workspace have been changing through time, like
Well,
the relationship of how we see workspace.
so in the same way that there is a strong connection with means of production and technology and the evolution of the workspace. Why do I mean by this? Like before the Industrial Revolution, there were no real workspaces. Like let's say offices. The real concept of the office really appeared after the Industrial Revolution, after the factories began, and then the factories began to have the need of having people in management roles. So this is where it's all where the birth of the office actually happened, and then the office evolution was connected to the means of production, like the plastics, fabrics, metal, and so on and so on. And some of us know more than others, but it changed from we've been changing from cubicles, workstations, like private offices, open offices, more meeting rooms, and now lately collaborative spaces, game rooms, and all this more trendy new spaces that are appearing in offices. But it's all been always connected with technology, to connectivity and to means of production. But it is also true that it's been falling a little bit behind, and what just happened with COVID-19 has shown us that it was falling behind.
That's a nice intro for the next question, but I want to know. I want to know, like, okay, so well, I was never thinking about it. Like before, we were a bunch of farmers, we're all like in places like this, probably growing some plantain or bananas
Like
or whatever.
before
And there was
it
no
was
notion about
really
where we
like
were.
think of all the societal
Didn't
changes
think
and all
about
the
it.
production changes,
Yeah.
how the private life and the public life were completely separate. Women were inside, architecture and spaces were also created by men, public spaces were predominantly male dominated spaces. So begin to imagine all the things that actually started shifting, wars, and of course the discovery of plastics was had a huge impact.
Yeah.
But all the societal changes that go around it are also very important, like psychotherapy and the appearance of marketing, for instance, like hardcore marketing, television. There are
Oh, I love it.
hundreds of things.
We can wrap it up in a way of seeing space as a mirror. It's a consequence of the society we live in. So it reflects exactly what is important at every moment, throughout history. So if I will be like an alien or something coming from Mars, we do the opposite. If we are taking too long, they can come to us, of course, and then they come to us and they visit our history and see that actually how space has shifted, and also how we interact around space, how power relationships take place, how what is important for every company takes place in the way we interact, not only the space, how it's designed, but how people actually use the space. Because, in the end, it's about how people use the space that is provided. And how something like co-working space, I have my office at WeWork, is a co-working space. So how that idea of creating a space where people that have many companies can go to, even with many companies with different cultures and different values can be all together sharing a space that is selling itself by being an awesome space. Actually, me as a WeWorker, a member at WeWork, I received like a survey about why do you think that you like us here at WeWork, and one of the questions is like space. How the space works for me, and how everything is so nicely designed and allows me to interact with other members is one of the top reasons why people choose WeWork, regardless of anything else, of chairs and desks or whatever. It's the atmosphere that is created around space that is a key selling point for something like WeWork, right?
And depending on your purpose and your goal, also with your business and with what you're doing, space can vary, and you might have different needs. Like the way you work can have different needs.
100%. 100%. And now we see a complete impact around COVID-19. That's what we were talking before. So in the end, like, let's say I was really happy, cozy at my office, and suddenly Corona happened, right? So, and then a lot of people that were not used to remote work or work from home, or like how to invent their corner while they have 3 kids running around, happened. So, and how companies can actually support creating that space within my private space. So then you have again the private and professional spaces merge when
all together. We go back. Yeah.
So
we go back to the private and public sphere, and so we go back a little bit in history, but it's sort of shifting, and technology is going inside as well into the private life.
Yeah,
it's super interesting.
How do you see the workspace shift that is of course happening? Yes or yes is not an option, as our new reality. How do you see that from your own perspective? I want to listen to Sol first about how we feel, how we feel at work since we have this new challenge, we call it like that. Yeah. And how you are seeing maybe cases of how people can actually take advantage or learn something new about themselves in relation to work thanks to this new space or idea of space.
Well, that's very interesting because we've seen everything. So people that have been challenged to, like you said, to have a different atmosphere, and all of a sudden just like have no privacy at all, just being at home with everyone around and trying to work, plus taking care of their loved ones, everything, the rest. However, for others, it has been really interesting in terms of, actually, we were discussing that with Claudia before, is 2/3 of the population in the Netherlands would like to stay actually working from home. This is very interesting because now
2/3.
Wow,
2/3. That's a lot of people. If you think carefully, that we were talking about flexibility a long time ago in terms of the organizations. And yes, we need to open the door for flexibility, but that was something more like, we can say more like in documents and probably for some people. But now the open door is more clear, probably. So yeah, now people are taking advantage of that flexibility, and I think it can bring new ways to work. So for instance, we can see people that are working like you from another country or from another location, absolutely fine, because we have the technology. We have the environment to do it. So it actually, COVID-19 has pushed the whole society to this jump into the real flexibility that we were actually trying to get for a long time. Also, I think it's important to see in terms of people, the resilience. It's a concept that can be perfectly translated into the space. So we are actually looking at more resilient people, just trying to, okay, we are not perfect. Life is not perfect. Life can have these challenges, and we need to adapt quickly, as quickly as we can. So that's actually what is happening in terms of the people. Now, the spaces, Claudia's going to probably talk a bit more about this, but we have now hybrid spaces. So we don't look at the workspace just in the office like we used to do. We are looking at the workplace at home, whatever. So that actually opens the door for a new kind of business that we were talking about in the webinar as well, which is those third places or the new places to work, like cafes, like restaurants that are not going to eat or just to have a coffee, but also to work. So they would have to be redesigned in terms of this new purpose. So I would have the opportunity to go to Juan Valdez, to give you an example of a nice, very nice coffee shop in Colombia. Just go there and have my space to work.
Actually, in the Netherlands, will be the coffee company. It's actually called the coffee company.
Yeah.
So look how they brand it, and you go there, and you even feel bad when you're talking out loud. People are just working there. Coffee company. In the Netherlands.
I think there are definitely tendencies that and like trends that we see, especially with co-working spaces and some cafes that have already seen this line of business, the opportunity in this line of business. But I think we're actually tilting towards that much more. It's not that it wasn't there, that it's completely new. But for instance, the fact that you have your office space, that you decided consciously to go to WeWork, to have a collaborative space, this is where we're going. Like places that are more flexible, that allow you much more collaboration, much more interaction. Because you can only innovate it, you can only have forward and creative thinking if you have that flexibility. If the space really allows you to have that resilience, and that's why also we said that we imagine the workplace, the workspace, and third places to be like the hybrid, where people can really choose which percentage of which they feel comfortable with. I would love to be able to work from home a lot, because I don't really need a lot of social interaction. I
can't do that.
Corona time was, oh, this is great. I don't need to be going out on Friday and interacting with people. I'm not forced to do that anymore, because nobody's doing it, so that's great. I can work from home. I can go to the library. I like the quietness, and I like to focus, and I like to be able to hear my music, or even have a movie or a sitcom in the background so I can have some noise. But I actually really do enjoy working alone. I'm just finding moments where I can work from somewhere else. And this is the case of a lot of people who were feeling actually very comfortable working from home, and realize that they're much more productive. They can have a much better, for some people it's hard, but for some people it's actually better to have a work-life balance. I've heard a friend of mine was telling me that she has a 2-year-old. She works for a government agency, so she had to go there, and like it was more a bureaucratic sort of job. Now she can do it from home in a portion of the time, because basically there were moments where she didn't have anything to do, because every email that she received, she solved it in 10 minutes and she was gone. At home, she can do that. She's connected the whole day, but she can spend time with her 2-year-old. She's super happy. The baby's super happy. And like, she doesn't want to go back to the office ever again, because what she does can be 100% done from home.
So what you're saying is, like, even if a workspace, or how we saw workspace, was already shifting, the thing that coronavirus, or the thing that COVID-19 crisis brought, was the reality that we have this, we have this new reality. We need to face it. Of course, in the beginning, everybody was kind of shocked how I'm going to do this. But now that everybody realized the benefits of it, it's like, oh, I want to keep it that way. So keeping it that way means rethinking about space, and for company owners means how we can serve that purpose now and support our employees or freelancers or whoever work with us to keep it up, So
and not only the space, but also the way they work and the way they hire people. So it brings a lot more opportunities.
I have a question for Sol, just to wrap it up, because we have like 30 seconds to go. I just want to know, time flies, you see. So, I was just wondering, like, in the way, if you don't need to talk to your colleague, if you don't need to be this, like Claudia saying, I really love to work by myself. I'm like, I'm getting crazy. I need to meet everybody in my neighborhood. because we are different types of creatures. Okay, so now if from the point of view of how we integrate or learn how to collaborate with colleagues beyond tasks, because of course when you go to a Zoom meeting or whatever, you go straight to the point, you don't do the chit chat. How we can recreate the part of creating that bond, in the office or whatever, with your colleagues without having the space, like within the virtual space.
Yes, so that's one thing. We need to take advantage of exactly those tools that we have there, just to communicate to each other. Actually, we produce a guidance to people that are working from home. And one of the main important parts that we put there were related to behaviors. We suggest you should create a meeting, whatever, not just about work with your colleagues. Can be a coffee like we are doing right now to talk about, did you see whatever in the news? Did you? Or, how is your family? To create other kind of interactions. So I think that's very important. Also, spaces, as we see in the future, are going to be actually focused on that, on socializing. So the office, for instance, is going to be just for that. To socialize, to create a project together, to actually improve the social capital. Yeah, because people are going to go to the office once or twice a week. So that's why it's very important to think this office as a social part in the future.
Amazing.
So yeah,
Amazing.
I think that.
And we can talk about this forever, and we will, because we're going to host a new event on this topic with way more information about case studies, the difference between the workspace, for example, in Latin America or Dutch culture, or there's so many things to talk about. And I also like the fact that you mentioned that you have developed a guideline for people who are working now from home. So if you're interested in getting that guideline, please make sure that you send us an info at 7daystogo.com, and we're going to send you also more information on how to improve your current situation, make the best out of it with the help of Claudia and so you can just send us an email by info@7daystogo.com, or you can add any of them or both of them on LinkedIn with these full names that you can see now on screen. Amazing, girls. Thank you for that. And have a really happy, amazing week. We invite everybody to watch our next coffee break. Join us with your favorite coffee. Next time is going to be all you need to know about SEO. Important, because now people need to search and find you somewhere. So here's the email, so you can request more information on this topic, and we can continue the conversation. We are also going to post some comments the upcoming events and what we're going to do, and we have prepared in August. By the way, we're also going to include a speed dating event for people to know each other and network online. So that would be amazing. We're going to post our calendar for the whole month, and we're really, really grateful to have this space just to introduce the topic and to just plant a little seed on how things are already changing and how you can make the best out of it, right?
Thank you very much, Maria. Amazing opportunity. Thank you very much for having us.
It was very nice.
Okay. Nice having you, and we continue the conversation. Everybody else, feel free to join us even later with comments and questions. We're going to keep an eye on this. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And
Bye. Bye, everyone.